we're going to talk about relationships and the Bible. So, you can't go and chase someone that's married. They are married. It doesn't matter what their circumstance is, but they are married. And there's nothing that you can do that would justify any actions. The way I look at it is, if you're married, I've never in my life been with a married girl because I don't want to be that person. Like, have I come in relationships that are ending? Yes. Have I come into relationships that there is a significant other? Yes. Have I done a married one? No, I have not. And so, because I used to be a big man hoe, but I'm not anymore. And I've been free to that. And my thing is, when someone is married, you can't go and hit on them, because what if they're just going through a rough period? At one point in time, they got married. That means that they loved each other. It wasn't always fighting. You know what I'm saying? And so, I think that if they're married, leave them alone. If they're in a relationship, really, all in all, I mean, if you know, I'd leave it alone. Because at some point, again, that person, and so biblically, you're not even supposed to get involved. And so that's where I would say your flesh would take over, instead of trying to remain in God in that circumstance. Again, I've never come in between like a marriage. I came in between a couple relationships back when I was doing what I was doing, but I'll be honest with you, there was like 2 or 3 that I knew about. The rest I had no idea. And the 2 or 3 that I knew about was just to have a good time, booty call, you know what I'm saying? And that's just not, that's just not the way to go. It's not. And then let's talk about like sexual immorality. You know, when you're out sleeping with other people, you know, that's a spirit that's on that person, right? It's a spirit that's operating inside that person. Most of them, I believe, are Jezebels, which a Jezebel is like a woman of lust. That could be a Jezebel. That could also, I think, be a Leviathan. I mean, because we live in a spiritual world. So, like, if myself, like, I've done all that. I've partied. I've slept with, I don't even know how many women. You know, I don't want to do that anymore. I'm not, because it was, what hole are you trying to fill? And I don't mean hers. I mean with inside you. Like, what hole are you trying to fill? What part of you is missing that you feel like you need to go do this? Because I used to be that person. I was, man. You could ask anybody. I'll put it this way. And now this was before God. When I had a brain aneurysm at 27, the first week that I was in my house, I had 7 different girls over. And that's just who I was. That's just who because I was trying to fill a hole inside of me that just wasn't. And maybe it was the heartbreak at 16 or the 4 relation. I don't know where it stems from, but I don't need to do that anymore. I'm healed. You know, I don't need to do this anymore. I'm healed. I don't need to do that anymore. I'm healed. You know, you have to let Him come in, and by Him I mean Jesus, come in and work through you. You know, because like you just. You don't. What am I trying to say? You're never going to heal yourself if you continue to try to fill these holes. Instead of get down to the root of the problem and where the hurt comes from, and essentially burn it out, tear it out, rip it off, whatever. Take your time to do whatever you got to do, whatever that is. And I don't know. You can't. All that stuff that's unhealed inside of you, you have to sit down with yourself. This is one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. And I mean I've ever had to do. Because you have to admit that you have flaws. You have to admit that your life is a little crazy. You have to admit that there are problems that you've been pushing down and 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 pushing down to a point where you have to look inside yourself. And this was the hardest thing I ever had to do. You ready? Start with a piece of paper and write down every single heartache that you've ever had in your life. And then go through, and by looking at them, you can tell which one you're not healed from. This is something that I've done. I've called and apologized. I've texted. I've reached out and said, I forgive you. Why do you go forgive? Forgiving's not for them. It's for you. You know? And so you gotta let all that stuff that's inside of you, because what's not healed will turn into hurt. What's not healed will cause you to hurt people. So if you're constantly hurt, you will continually hurt people that didn't hurt you. And nobody's perfect. Sometimes you just have bad days. I get that. But all in all, hurt people. Hurt people seek revenge. Hurt people punish you for their hurt. Hurt people give you suffering for their suffering. Hurt people hurt you. So make sure to get healed from whatever is coming your way. Whatever it is. Because if you don't take the time to heal it, you're never going to be the person that you're called to be. Have a great day today, guys. Welcome to my TED Talk.